Welcome to my Gabrielle Chana Fox News page. And as you can see, I'm getting pretty good at being a webmaster, my own webmaster. I started this website, actually, it started off as GabrielleChana.com at Homestead. First, it was Intuit. And I started the website when I was working at Walmart, and I had to do my taxes, and I couldn't do them uh, unless I had the internet. So I hadn't had the internet from 2001 to 2010. So I got the internet, and when I got on the internet, I did a search on Brent Spiner, who was, the main man in my life, who's been the main man in my life for since 1990, though Vladimir Putin kind of usurped him from 2001 to 2006, but it's a long story. But if you've been following me, and so it's all here at this website on one of the many pages. But this used to be GabrielleChana.com at Homestead. It was Intuit. Intuit, when I did my taxes, Intuit offered me a website for $5 a month. I thought, wow, what a deal! So I went in there, and the first month I was so frustrated, I almost gave up, and I said, I can't do this. I didn't know anything about website design. And I just went in there and fiddled around and just figured out how to do it on my own. My first website was pretty amateurish looking. It's really like a blog, and I didn't know the first thing about web design or anything, so it wasn't that good. But you got to start somewhere. So I started in 2010, and my main goal was, I thought, well, first of all, when I got online, the first thing I did was I did a search on Brent Spiner, and I thought, oh no, that horrible Lori McBride is still in business. You see, I thought that she had died in 2001 because I'd heard brain to brain, which was apparently inaccurate, that she died, that she blew herself up in a car. What actually happened, I figured this out in July 2001. What actually happened was Lori McBride blew up one of her clones in a car because the real Brent, was planning on coming out to Florida to come marry me, and she wanted to intimidate him. So she blew up one of her clones in a car and laughed and told Brent that it was me. And he cried, and then she said, oh, it was one of my clones. I'm still here. And so I thought she died. So I thought, wow, we don't have Lori McBride in the way, so maybe Brent will come marry me. And then September 2001 came around, and I was living at my mother, and I didn't want to live with my mother because she was very controlling. She's a narcissist. And I didn't want to live with her, but I had no place else to go. I didn't have a job. I was newly divorced. My husband was a narcissist too. And I wanted to be with Brent. He was the one who gave me the courage to divorce my abusive husband. And I didn't have a job, and I was hoping he would come get me and rescue me and keep me off the streets, or so I didn't have to live with my mother. But he never came. He tried. In fact, I think he even bought a home in Daytona Beach, and he tried. But Lori McBride she just let him know that she meant business. And if he got, and I think he did try to board a plane in at Los Angeles to fly out to Florida, and that was 9/11. That was 9/11. He was just about to board the plane, and he heard about 9/11, and he canceled his flight, and he stayed there in California. And when I knew that the Jesuits did 9/11, I thought, man, I need a president in my life. He's never going to come get me. Those Jesuits always know how to scare him off. So I thought Vladimir would be braver. And Vladimir was flirting with me. I could tell by this picture that he put in my Florida paper. See, they had bugs in my mother's house, and all the world leaders were listening to me talking in my bedroom to the bugs in the wall. And I knew Vladimir was listening. So I said, I'm going to marry the Russian president. And it wasn't any better with him. The almighty Jesuit order knew how to intimidate even the Russian president. What they did then was President Bush, Vladimir wanted to come over to the United States to try and meet me. And he thought President Bush was working with him, George W. Bush. And my mother got switched out with her clone, and my mother's clone moved me to Tallahassee, Florida, and Jeb Bush was working for George W. Bush to protect Laura Bush. We found out later that the Jesuits threatened to kill Laura Bush or harm Laura Bush if George W. Bush wouldn't threaten war on Russia if widower Vladimir Putin wouldn't marry Ludmila. So I found out about Ludmila. I thought, oh no, Ludmila is Vladimir Putin's Laurie McBride. So I thought, those Jesuits, it's like, the only way they would be happy with me marrying would be if I married one of their agents. So if I don't marry one of their agents, then any man who truly loves me and who will treat me with respect and genuinely care about me and help me to be strong and true to my King David and Catherine the Great genes, they sabotage. So anyways, that's the reason all the news in the world revolves around me and my men. Just about all the major news items that happen in the world today are related to me and my men, and they are at this page. But the sad part is you will not hear about this news in the mainstream. I call it the narcissist news network, because the Jesuits control the news. I call that the Jesuit. When you turn on the television today and watch Fox, CNN, MSNBC, or even Russia Today, and Alex Jones is one of the better ones out there, but even he can't tell the whole truth. I call that the narcissist news network, the narcissist fake news network. It's the propaganda machine. Everything you hear there is designed to brainwash you into having the mindset and the attitude that will serve the New World Order or the Jesuit Order, because the Jesuit Order has been behind the New World Order. And George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and all of them are working for the New World Order or Jesuit Order or Lori. Right now, the leader of the New World Order is, believe it or not, it's Laurie McBride. And you never hear about her on the mainstream. Now, if you watch Gabrielle Chana Fox News, you'll hear about her, but it's Laurie McBride. You may say, how did that happen? She doesn't look like she'd be that important. Well, that's why you got to watch Gabrielle Chana Fox News. That's why you need to be tuned into my website. Let me tell you why my website is different. Every one of those news networks out there, with the exception of Alex Jones and a couple of others, they are owned by a big, rich New World Order, by Big Brother, by the Soros machine. And actually, it's the Laurie McBride Soros machine. Laurie McBride and George Soros are like BFF, So everything you hear is fake. Even Fox, even Alex Jones doesn't tell the whole truth. Like Steve Scalise. You know who you're watching on the news? That's an automaton. Steve Scalise died. That baseball game between the Republicans and the Democrats, you know what really happened? Now, you'll get this at my website, on my Gabrielle Chana Fox News page, and at my website. What happened was a crazy Kathy Griffin supporter, a woman who was a lousy shot, showed up at that baseball game, and she started just randomly shooting. She didn't really know how to shoot a gun. She ended up killing all the Democratic congressmen. And she got one Republican congressman, Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise was rushed to the hospital. He was shot up his anus. He was not able to poop because of the damage from the gunshot wound. And his wife was by his side. And now this is the news you will get at my website and Gabrielle Chana Fox News that you don't get on the mainstream news. It was a Laurie McBride, Kathy Griffin supporter who shot Skitsy. Yeah, you say, well, what about all those Democratic congressmen who are probably looking at a bunch of automatons? They've all been replaced with automatons. Yeah, she was actually a Democrat herself, but she was probably a sociopathic narcissist like Laurie McBride. She went in there with a gun. She shot all the Democratic congressmen and Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise was fighting for his life, but he lost the battle and he died. And he went to heaven. And he has been replaced with a very good automaton. Yeah, it was a woman, not a man. But on the news, they report that a man went in there and did it. It was a woman, a Kathy Griffin supporter. In fact, I don't even know if that, I imagine that woman has been executed. I don't know. I haven't kept up with my men on what happened to that woman. But that's who did it. She was a Lori McBride Jesuit. Lori McBride supporter. Lori McBride is a killer. Now, you're going to hear about this at my website and at Gabrielle Chana Fox News. You see, nobody owns me. I am my own boss. Though Lori McBride is trying to shut down my freedom of speech. But thus far, she's done some damage. For instance, my Google Plus channel, one of my Google Plus channels has been taken down. They say I spoke with Zach Knight about this. He says to Google, you've been putting malware into their system. I said, really? I don't know how I've been putting malware into their system, but somehow my posts have been putting malware into their system. Lori McBride has somehow used my post to put malware into Google Plus so that she succeeded in shutting me down at Google Plus. So when you go through my website, you'll notice I don't have any links to Google Plus. But Alex Jones, the Steve Scalise stuff, he's reporting that it was a man. I think Alex knows it was a woman, but you see, he has an expensive operation going, a multi-million-dollar operation. I'm operating on a very low budget, but because I'm such a smart girl and I do all my own work, I'm able to pull it off. So, but this is my news site, folks. I even have a video here where you can watch a video, a playlist, and when you play it, it will shoot lightning bolts at Lori McBride. So if you're mad at her because you're feeling bad because she dropped a bomb over your head that's making you sick, she's good at doing that. She puts yeast in her these genetically engineered yeast that give you the farts. They give you insomnia. And that's why it's very important to do the Gail commandments. Now, you'll hear about that at Gabrielle Chana Fox News. Nobody out there is telling everybody they need to do the Gail commandments. See, and nobody knows about it. Do you hear, nobody knows about Lori McBride. Nobody knows about Angelina Ballerina. Nobody knows about Zach Knight. Why, those are three of the most important news items for the past 3 years. If you don't even know the history behind those three people, you are a total ignoramus. It's not your fault. So that's why you need to go visit my website regularly. I blog every day, and it's usually like news commentary. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see all my blog, the links to all my blog posts. I have like a RSS feed to all the latest of my blog posts. I sponsor an RSS feed for Alex Jones and Russia Today at my website too, because they're the more accurate than American news, but than most American news. But it's pathetic, the state of the news media today. Like I said, if you don't know who Lori McBride is, if you don't know who Angelina Ballerina is, and you don't know who Zach Knight is, you know nothing. You are a total idiot as far as what's going on in the world. It's not your fault unless you're deliberately ignorant because you like believing lies. Maybe you've got an agenda or something. But I'm just telling you, but you'll learn about it at this page. And I have interviews with Donald Trump, brain-to-brain interviews with Donald Trump, with like Rudy Giuliani, Bill O'Reilly, all sorts of Hillary. I didn't interview Hillary because she's on the enemy side. You say, well, no, she's a big liar. She's a sociopath. So, but you'll learn that at my website. You'll learn what she did to Donald Trump at a Trump rally at this. This is at my website. It's at my YouTube channel. So you need to go to my YouTube channel. You need to go to my website, and you should check them out every day. Because if you don't, because I'm reporting the real news, and that's why I created this site, because I was tired of all the lies. Every man on my marriage list, they report on Vladimir Putin, Brent Spiner, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Brett. It's a whole bunch of lies. You get the truth at my site.